One second, guys. Ooh, delicious. What's up, book nerds, and welcome to the Bookala Review. I'm your friendly neighborhood passionista, Ursula, and today I'm going to be reviewing the trilogy, Dirty Billionaire by Meghan March. It is a series made up of 3 books, and I have to say, this is what I would call one of your feel-good, quick read novels. Excuse me one second. She wanted to say hello. All right. Where was I? Oh yeah. This is what I would call, like I said, one of your feel-good romance novels. One that's a quick read that leaves you feeling satisfied when you're done. Like, it's one of those really well-rounded stories that ties up all the loose ends. And that's something I really like, especially when it's a quick read. I want to feel satisfied, and Meghan March does a really good job at that. But I do have to say, if I had any suggestions, I think she should write another book in their series. She does such a good job with these characters, and I love these characters. She got me invested with them that I would love to see maybe like a little holiday thing or something, or maybe just a quick little novella of their story just to see where they're at now. I just think it'd be really cute. Anyways, let's talk about the book, my friends. This book is about 2 characters named Creighton and Holly. And Creighton, our leading man, is as you guessed it, billionaire. He is the head of his own company that made his money in foreign markets. And so he is your typical dominant, take over the world, protective type that once he wants something, he has to have it and go after it because, you know, it has to be his. He's your, like I said, your typical dominant man. So let's face it, all of us girls love that kind of guy in a romance novel. He gets the juices flowing. Anyways, Holly, actually, I love Holly's character. She's a very fun, independent character. She's actually about like 10 years younger than Creighton. He's 33, she's 22, but she is this new up-and-coming country artist that's just getting her start, and she's having some issues with her record company. So I wonder where that's gonna lead us. Hi. Anyways, how they meet. What's ends up happening, they meet at a bar on Christmas Eve, and they end up having a steamy one-night stand, which Meghan March, you did good. Just saying, Meghan March does a fantastic job getting the juices flowing. She wrote a very fluid, well-rounded, very toe-curling romance novel. She does a good job with all those hot scenes. Anyways, after their one-night stand, Creighton becomes obsessed with her. Like, he has become kind of bored in his life, and so after he meets Holly, he's just like, who is this girl? I have to have her. Like, I have to have her. And he really doesn't know who she is, so he puts out a misconnection, offering her marriage if she meets him on New Year's Eve in the hotel where they hooked up. And well, he meets her and they get married. After they get married, the rest of the first book, after they get married, it's pretty much about them trying to fit into each other's lives. He is very into his career. He's running an empire, and she's very independent and isn't used to answering to people. So she's not used to having a man in her life that pretty much wants to take over and take care of her. And he's not used to having a woman in his life that doesn't just lay at his feet, which I think that's partly why he likes her so much. You know, it's the challenge. But anyways, they're trying to come together, and the one thing they do seem to come together on is their sexual chemistry. which is off the charts. Another thing, Meghan March, like I said, you did good. And so at the end of the first book, pretty much Holly takes off because Creighton breaks a promise to her to help put her career first. So that's what happens at the end of book 1. Book 2, what do you think happens? Of course, Creighton, being obsessed with Holly, goes after her, pretty much has to chase her down on her tour to find her. And he pretty much has to fit his life according to her, which he's not used to doing. And pretty much him trying to fit into her life, he kind of realized he's never done that for a lady before, and it's starting to invoke all these deeper feelings in him. And it's doing the same for Holly. She's not expecting him to come into her life and become truly invested like he has. And the second book is very detailed in the building of the relationship. You can tell they are starting to build deeper feelings for each other, that they are starting to realize that they want this to be a true marriage, and that, you know, they want to be together. So in the second book, you get a lot of fun little fluff and little fight scenes that is just very fun, because you can still see in the second book they're trying to work out the dynamics of their relationships, which Meghan March does a really good job at writing. Like, she did a great job with these characters. I became invested in these characters, which is another reason why I think she should write a little snippet of where they are now. But anyways, at the end of the second book, you know, their feelings are developing and they're really starting to come to terms that this is something real. But a bomb drops. Dum dum dum. Holly finds out that she is actually his third wife, not his second like she assumed. And that just doesn't go over very well. And what does she do? Yet again, she gets up and takes off. Which, okay, I don't really blame her. I would be upset too. I mean, if I found out that the guy that I'm technically falling in love with had another wife, I'd be kind of pissed. Any normal good woman would. Especially someone who's falling for her husband. But, so I understand why she takes off. I would have taken off too. I'll admit that. Anyways, let's talk about book number 3. I really liked book number 3 because to me, book number 3 is where the sweet spot is of solidifying the relationship. For me, that really summed up the story. Of course, Holly takes off. Where does she go? She goes to her hometown, to her grandmother's house, which her grandma had passed away. And what does Creighton do? Of course, he goes after her. And, okay, this has to be my favorite part in the trilogy. Just the relationship that they have that is solidified in this book. It's just so pretty. It really is. I really love the dynamic that they have together. Like, you can tell that through the whole series that Holly is very afraid of getting attached to people, that people seem to leave and let her down, and so she's very scared to let Creighton in, especially because she feels like he's gonna leave. And Creighton, he's not used to really caring about people the way he cares about Holly. The only other person he really cares about deeply is his sister. It's Creighton's relationship with his sister, how he feels for his sister, that helps him accept how he feels about Holly. And also it gives him the ability to take the lead in their relationship, to help it grow, and for them to both accept that they love each other and that they want a real marriage, which is in the third book and does such a great job. So once all that happens, things are going great, but then Holly's mother shows up and all hell breaks loose pretty much. Like, Creighton goes to New York to deal with business problems, and Holly's mom shows up, and Holly just thinks her mom wants a real relationship with her, but it turns out all her mom wants is to sell Holly and Creighton's relationship to a tabloid, which is what she does, which is horrible. But I think this actually is the moment that Holly really realizes how much she truly cares for Creighton, actually. Because I feel like it's Creighton's reaction to all that happening, his protectiveness, his want to help her, to be there for her, that pretty much validates for her their relationship and makes it possible for her to trust him. Because right after that happens, Holly finds out that Creighton actually up and bought her record company without telling her, which honestly, if I was a recording artist and my new husband did that for me, I'd be flattered. But at the same time, I think I'd probably feel the way Holly did in the book, which is confused and very taken by surprise, which is how she feels. But instead of running from the problem like she normally does, because their relationship has been put into such a good place in this book, instead of running from the problem, she runs toward the problem, and she goes to him and lets him explain it, which I think is great. And you think that the book is ending up in a tight little bow, which is very cute. They're together, they're happy. He brought her the record label. But, and this took me by surprise, but I thought was pretty cool of Meghan Markle and very smart on her part. She actually ends the book in a really suspenseful way. Like, you find out that the man that Creighton always believed was his father wasn't his father, that his father was actually a mafia member and that runs the mob in New York, and just kind of shows up and helps take care of some of his problems at the end of the book, which kind of leads you going, that's unexpected. But it's not an unexpected, like a bad unexpected surprise. I kind of found it fun, because it kind of left me going, that's kind of cool. I like that. And I also liked it because it opened up the opportunity for Meghan Markle to write more novels, which what she does. She kind of continues the series in a different way, in a different trilogy. She actually writes another trilogy based on Creighton's sister Greer, which brings me to something I'm starting. Every week I want to do an honorable mention of the author's book I'm reviewing. And this week, the honorable mention is Meghan Markle's Dirty Girl, which is of the story of Creighton's sister Greer. I really liked this book. I think she did a really fun job, like, continuing in that world of Dirty Billionaire, which is fun. So you do see Creighton and Holly a little bit, but not enough to, like, satisfy at least my curiosity. I kind of want to know what they're doing, but that's just me. Overall, I have to say this book series was great. Like I said before, it's a very fun, quickly read that leaves you feeling satisfied and has some really great dynamics of its characters and also has some really good toe-curling moments in it, which is what you want when you read a romance novel. You want your juices flowing, as I've said before. It's what you want. Now, here's the part in my review where I judge whether or not I think this book is Passionflix worthy, whether I think Tosca Musk should make it into a movie. And I have to say, on my scale of 1 to 10, which is Passionflix worthy, I have to tell you, my rating is actually an 8. But let me tell you why. This book was such a quick read. I cannot decide whether or not I think it is a Passionflix quickie worthy, which like maybe 3 little quickies, or just, you know, like 3 little trilogy quickies of like the first book, the second, the third, or if it would make one really good long movie, just all the 3 books in one movie. So I'm not sure. I could see it going both ways, which is why I give it an 8. So I would have to leave that up to the expert, which is Passionflix. But that is my review, my friends. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Bookala review. Stay tuned because Thursday I am reading, well, right now I am reading the book One Moment Please by Amy Dawes, and I have to review it. It's so good. You guys are gonna love it. And a fun fact about the author, Amy Dawes, Passionflix has already optioned one of her books, which is, dun da da da, Wait for Me. All right, book nerds, I've had a lot of fun talking books with you. I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed to Passionflix, you need to do that now because Gabriel's Inferno Part 2 premieres on Friday. So get going and do that like right now. Love you, nerds. Bye.